Yo, 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 welcome to another episode of Break the Chalk. I am your host, Mr. Russo, and we are here for a episode 2, week 4 edition of college football best bets, and hopefully building a ladder to success and hopefully getting to step 3 this weekend. So, had an unfortunate beat last week with we had Miami bad beating us on the spread against USF in a blowout game, which was unfortunate. And then you had the A&M Notre Dame game go way over. Even our alt line could not save that. So unfortunate beats there, but we move on. Always bet responsibly and wager what you can, but hopefully we can build this ladder up. We will do 2 plus 100 ladders this week, and I'm focusing on building one for Friday night's game with Iowa, and then we've got a couple of plays Saturday for when that hits. So please, one, like and subscribe. Obviously, we appreciate any love we get, whether it's through here or just through anything with this channel. Check out our Twitter or our X handle, which is Russo and Goodwin. I'll be posting the plays there as a reminder, and we'll also maybe throw in some NFL plays. I had some good success on the player props there, which I wish we had the legal ability to do on the college level, but unfortunately the state outlawed that. So let's get started, man. And like I said, we're gonna go with 2 ladders here. One being in the Friday night game with a heated battle incoming in the Big Ten. We have Iowa taking on Rutgers, and here's where I want to land on this game. So, first of all, let's just talk about Iowa's defense, right? I think most of you can probably assume historically this team has a solid defense. They're dominant to the point where over the last 2 games against Rutgers, they've only allowed 10 points. Now, you argue that's historics, that's in the past, but you always want to take everything into consideration. So Rutgers has looked okay against their opponents. Obviously, I think they stat padded a lot. They played Norfolk State and Ohio, but they haven't faced a defense like Iowa. So where I'm leaning towards is Iowa using the ground game. It looks like they averaged 5.6 yards per carry against UMass in their last game, and Rutgers is giving up that same amount against those non-conference opponents. So just imagine what Iowa has the ability and capability of doing with possessing the clock and keeping this game long and keeping the game out of Rutgers' hands. And to me, with Rutgers averaging 46 points per game against this week's schedule, I just don't see how that's going to be sustainable. So where I'm thinking about leaning here, let me see. I was thinking about I want to land on Iowa and under. That's where I'm landing on. And if we can get there to plus 100, that's where I'd like to be. So let's just start with the points. You always want to take a hook in 7.5 just in case. So if we land there and we can pick up our points, where do we land on for plus 100? It looks like 50.5 will be the number. So to me, and you know what? I'm so confident in the fact that I'd rather buy a point on the total than the spread. I mean, if it gets in the 50s, I'll be nervous that, this could be a trouble. But I'll take 6.5, thinking that this is going to be a low-scoring game. And we'll take the extra point on the total here. So 51.5. Iowa 6.5. You lock it in here. And to me, this is going to be the first bet of the weekend. So we're going to place a $10 wager, bet with whatever units you want. This is just the wager that we go for on our ladder challenges. And that's where that's the spot I like. I think it's just going to be a Big Ten showdown. I think Rutgers gets a little bit humbled compared to what they've faced, with the weak schedule thus far. So just let's pray we don't get into a situation because we've been burnt on unders before. But historically, I have faith that Iowa controls this game, keeps it very close, and hopefully we keep it within +6.5 and under 51.5. So that is where we're landing on the first game. And let me get everything up. So hopefully when we win that, we will have whatever the weight. What was the number on here on my bet slip? 10 to 2013. So we're gonna roll over hopefully $20.13 onto the next play, which is going to be a little interesting. I have 3 spots that we can discuss on here, and we will start with. And look, there's a couple big games this weekend. It's a relatively weak slate, but a couple of tough games this week, and we'll start with the big one, Michigan and Nebraska. This is a spot where I am 100% leaning on the experience, and I am betting against Bryce Underwood. Now, if Bryce Underwood goes into Nebraska and essentially tells me to F off, respect. It's all respect. I just haven't seen that I'm not threatened by it, basically. It's going to be a hostile crowd. The defense is going to frustrate him. And to me, I just with the performance he had against Oklahoma, which I want to say, if I can get this up, he went 9 for 24, 142 pass yards. Just not something you want to see. And look, this is not crapping on his potential. This is just a spot where I'm taking Dylan Raiola, who has settled into Matt Rule's system. He's been through some pretty tough Big Ten games in his career so far, and their defense is just not half bad. Now, the game's at 2:30, so it's not going to be like a Saturday night at Death Valley and Tiger Stadium, but we're going to take the Nebraska side here. Now, where do we want to land is the question. I'm thinking if we're going I'm thinking +7.5. I think they'll hold on for a touchdown. If they lose, I don't think it's by more than a touchdown. So I'm thinking +7.5 for Nebraska. So like I said, solely betting against Bryce Underwood. Can he come into Nebraska and win this game? Sure. I'm not confident in that. I don't think he comes in and blows them out. I think it'll be a close game, maybe an ugly game. Gun to my head, taking the under, but we are going to stick with Nebraska +7.5 on the alt spread there. And we're going through these pretty quick, guys. I'll give you maybe a few thoughts on my on the LSU. Obviously, we have an episode coming out tomorrow on the RNG show, so shout out to that, and shout out to Catching Up with Coach. Hell of a show where he gives his breakdown and thoughts on LSU fully. So we're just sticking to our bets here. A second game we're going to talk about here, and it's tough to me. So I'm going to go and fall in line here and take a letdown spot, a trap game for a team like Florida State, who one is clicking on all cylinders. They've exceeded expectations. They are playing a team in Kent State who is a MAC team. It should be easy work as far as the competition is concerned, but the look ahead spot is where I'm looking at this game for. And they play at Virginia next Friday. So key ACC matchup. Virginia's 2-1 this year, so the ACC's, with Clemson being bad, is wide open. So it's an important game on the road and a short schedule. So with that taken into mind, I believe the line on this game is, and let's pull it up. 45.5. We're going to bump that up a little bit. I think we're going to take 56.5, I believe. And the reason why is, look, if Kent State can just put up a touchdown or two, it really just makes our chances that much better to cash it. It's already a minus 590, and it brings our ladder to minus 155. So I'm solely betting against Bryce Underwood on the road with the Nebraska cover, and I'm betting in the look-ahead spot with Florida State taking on Virginia on the road and a short schedule. So we're betting trends here, man. That's what we're doing. And, I historically don't do that, but when you're in a rut, you got to find a way out. And sometimes you have to rely back to those trends. So that puts us at minus 155. And we've got one more game. Let's go see if we can find it. I hope everyone's having a great day. This is being recorded on Wednesday, 9/17/2025 at 6:54 currently p.m. Central Standard Time. The episode will be released in about 45 minutes at onset at 7:30. So feel free to comment, share, like, subscribe, please. Definitely appreciate all the love we can get, and we're just going to continue to build, hopefully get our social media platforms all up. We've been having a lot of issues with Facebook and TikTok and all of those, trying to get everything settled. With anything from the past that we've had, obviously channels are not fun to run sometimes. However, we go to the last leg of this second parlay. Hopefully that's going to be with our $20, and we're going to Purdue Notre Dame. And this is, again, a spot where we've got a sense of urgency, one, in Notre Dame, who's 0-2. They absolutely need to win out if they want any chance to be in the conversation for making the playoffs. So you have a sense of urgency and you have motivation. Why? What does that equal? It equals a blowout. It equals a setup for a blowout. And to me, what a better team to do it against Purdue. I think they're about as average as it gets for the Big Ten. And it's not like Notre Dame has looked bad in their two games. They've played both Miami and Texas A&M, one being on the road, one being at home. However, both are top 15 teams, and they've lost by a combined 7 points. So what does that say? That says they're pretty good. They've had a very tough schedule, and now the urgency kicks in because you have to win out. So not only winning out, you have to show the committee that you're about that life. You're about that action, and you've got to take control of this game and win by a lot. So this is a spot where I'm looking at all of those factors. They're 24th in the nation right now. I expect them to come out and have a very damn good game. And I am going to take them on the alt line, of course, and we're going to take them all the way up to 2 touchdowns. Minus 13.5. There are some teams that are in ruts that, have the ability to work their way out. And I think there's teams like Clemson who might be stuck. There's teams like Florida that might be stuck just due to the culture going around. Florida's defense, I'll shout them out against LSU. I know a lot of people were mad about that game if you're an LSU fan, but Florida's defense is solid. They're a very good defense. Clemson's defense is also good. It's not like they've been playing BS defense. In LA Tech, it is what it is. Thankfully, they're winning and making that look a little bit better. But shout out to their defenses. Obviously, the situation sucks. DJ Lagway, 5 picks last game, so not fun there. But Purdue gave up 460 yards to USC last week, 33 points, and that was all at home. So to me, there's a lot to prove. CJ Carr has looked pretty solid in his 2 games. Jeremiah Love, obviously, a solid back in the backfield. And I think, with a team that can turn the ball over and capitalize on those, Purdue's done that 6 times already in 3 games. So I just see a blowout potential here, a blowout spot. Hopefully it's not close to this number, but in case, we are going to take Notre Dame at minus 13.5, and that is the second leg of the day or of the weekend for say. Now, two things. One, please pay attention. Don't throw. I'm not betting this right now. What sucks is numbers will move, but this is the second leg. So if we win the first leg that we talked about with Iowa, we throw our winnings on it, which I think was like 2013. If we lose, we start over with 10. So the bad thing is these lines are all going to change. So how do we counteract that? Please pay attention to the Twitter. I will make sure the math. This is a simple numbers game. We will figure it out and hopefully be in the ballpark with these. And with the possibility of having something like a boost, maybe we switch sportsbook and use a profit boost. You always want to take advantage on the early stages of a ladder challenge so you can just boost your potential, get more in return, so on and so forth. So that's one. And two, if we're feeling hot, if everything's going well, pay attention to the Twitter, because if it's looking like we're going 2 for 2 in that 2:30, you notice all these games are at 2:30, we might find a way to sneak in a third play for the night games. So just more reason to check out our Twitter. Me and Trey both hop on those. We're just huge fans of college football, guys. So it is something that we just love to do. And in my opinion, we're just in the best time of the year. Obviously, we're in September now, almost to October, almost quarter four. And you know what happens in quarter four? Bunch of the holidays coming up. But anyways, hopefully we can get at least 2 for 2 and hold your tongue on 3 for 3. We might get there depending on how we are vibing. So and we'll also post some offshore plays if people are interested. But guys, that's it. We're going to be under 20 minutes today. Feel free to comment on I'll be paying attention. I'll be watching. We like to do these pre-recorded just to make sure we get the best lines, and our main priority is for the Friday line. So that will be out. That will be on the social medias. And yeah, guys, take care. Love one another. And we will see you guys next week.